Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Shamanic and Alchemical Mystery School Global Gathering. We are living in truly momentous times. We find our lives filled with unexpected changes, new awakenings, and initiations on both a personal and a collective level. Especially during times like these, it is of vital importance that all humans have access to receive and remember the ancient teachings about the power and abilities that are our birthright, the sacredness of life itself, and the vital support streaming in from the unseen realms to guide and support us on this journey of awakening. There has never been a more important time to remember who we truly are and to reconnect with all that we are capable of. I am Jocelyn Starfeather. I'm the founder of Sacred Planet, and I'll be your host and your guide for this mystery school gathering. And today I am delighted to be here with Kathy Forrest. Welcome, Kathy. Thank you so much for being a part of this event.
Thank you, Jocelyn, for having me. I'm so excited about what you're doing and presenting and what we're going to talk about today.
Yes, I am so excited about what we're going to talk about today. And as we were just saying before we started recording, this is something that I know we've wanted to have this conversation and share it with everybody for really years now. So I'm super excited, and it is so powerful and important and deeply aligned for the mystery school. So thank you for bringing it forward. So let me introduce you to those who may not know you yet and know about your work yet. Kathy Forrest, MSCHT, is a wild woman high priestess who helps women make more money doing what they love. Kathy uses her skills as a psychotherapist, master energy healer, teacher, and transformational life coach to assist women and the men who love them to deeply transform their lives through soul healing down to the cellular level. Kathy is the founder and owner of Celestial Forest Institute of Energy Healing and Shamanic Studies. You can learn more about her on her website, which is celestialforestinstitute.com. And so, Kathy, your topic for today is Teach Your Children Well, the Female Body as a Tool for Planetary Transformation. And I just want to pause for a moment and say thank you, Kathy, for all of the incredible work you're doing to help us remember these mystery school teachings and remember who we really are. I know that is such a core and important part of all that you're doing in the world. So heartfelt thanks for your beautiful work.
Thank you. Yeah, it's what we all came here to do, right?
Yeah. Now we're here to remember. That's for sure. Yes. Amazing. So I'll ask you a question here to get us started, but I know you have a beautiful slideshow that we're going to go right into. So the question to start it off is, can you tell us what you mean by the female body as a tool of planetary transformation? And yes,
It's my whole presentation. I'm going to share it with you on the slides. But basically, what we have forgotten as women is that we were made for this. We were made for this time, and our mothers didn't know, our grandmothers didn't know it. The wisdom teachings that are literally dormantly asleep inside of us were put to sleep on purpose. And because we haven't activated those things, that knowing, many of the things that I may present today may seem weird or woo-woo, and that's exactly the Kool-Aid they want us to drink. And it's what is, if you look around at what's going on out there now, everyone could be in fear really easily. And if we allow ourselves to just be there frozen, anything can happen. But we don't have to be. We absolutely have the power inside of us, tangible, physical power inside of us to change this in a minute, in a heartbeat. And that's what I'm going to teach you how to do. Pretty simple.
aho. I am right there with you wholeheartedly. Amazing. So yes, let's learn more about this. I can't wait to hear all that you're going to share with us today.
We'll
I
make
see it.
a
It
slide.
looks great.
Okay. There we go. All right, everyone. Well, I am very, very excited to share this information with you. And what most women don't know, and I've been screaming this from the rooftops for years, is that the female body is the most powerful shamanic tool on the planet. And every woman can use their body to create a new vision, the vision that we all have, the vision that we were born with. We can ground that into the earth and create the world we know we can live in for the next 7 generations and beyond. And that's what we are here to do. Literally, that's what we're here to do. We don't know about the power that lies inside of our bodies, but we can unleash that power to create global change at a level never before seen on this planet. And it's already happening. I mean, it happens quietly. And so it is happening. But we need to up the ante a little bit. So as we look out at our world, I can spout all of this magnificent information, but then we look out and we see what's really happening. And rightfully so, we're a little freaked out. And we have spent many, many years blaming it on all kinds of things, on patriarchy, on men. And maybe, this might be a place where we could talk about this. Centuries ago, really at the beginning of intelligent life on this planet, women were the keepers. We were the ones that held the balance. Matriarchal societies weren't a thing of the past. They were real and tangible. And during those years, the planet flourished. For thousands of years, the planet flourished. But there is an alchemical reason behind that I'm going to share with you today. And what has happened is we have, in our new modern society, we see all these things around us happening, and we're afraid. And we internally, we know that this is wrong, but we have been schooled and trained that we have absolutely no power to do anything about it. And most of that is unspoken, but when we aren't listened to, when the female body is maligned, and that's just her stuff. And we do it too. We do it to ourselves. We've been programmed this way. And you'll understand a little bit more as I go along. But there are nefarious forces out there that would love to usurp all the beauty and all the power of this planet and use it for their own devices. And we see that happen on a planetary level, but I believe it's much larger than that. And literally, that consciousness is what causes the infighting and what causes us to war against each other. And because we have lost our link to the planet herself, we're kind of like sitting ducks out here unless we reestablish that alchemical link. And women are the ones that can do it. And I'm going to tell you why. The truth of all of this, and you can say, I say it's a consequence of women going to sleep. We were probably put to sleep. That Sleeping Beauty fairy tale is not very far from the truth. And we didn't do it. Those of us that are here and alive now, we didn't do that on purpose. We just didn't know. And, I love this quote from Marianne Williamson. It takes courage to endure the sharp pains of self-discovery rather than choose to take the dull pain of unconsciousness that would last the rest of our lives. And our mother's generation, our grandmother's generation, they didn't know. And many of them lived in that dull pain of unconsciousness. So by the time we land, all of us new, bright, shiny light workers land on the planet, we're looking around going, what is wrong with you? But we aren't educated either until now. So here's some of the secrets. Number one, a history lesson. This planet was designed to be a library of information, not just for us, but for the galaxy, for the cosmos. There are codes stored in this planet that you won't find anywhere else. You don't house that kind of a library in buildings. You house it in blood, in the codes, in the lifeblood of every sentient being on this planet. All of what we learn, all of what we feel and process and come to know, generation after generation after generation, goes into the Earth Library. Or at least it used to. It went in a lot more efficiently when women would gather in the bleeding lodges and bleed together on a regular basis on the Earth. That kind of connectedness with the planet built a bond between humans and the elements and the Earth. And then we got industrialized. Wonder where all that industrialization came from? I'll let you ponder that. But when that happened, that bond was broken. And now we're seeing the consequences. It was all but lost. And as that began to happen, the Earth, and you can just look at it, just track it. The Earth and all of her inhabitants, not just us, but all of them, literally began to lose life force. And you can feel it. You know, you have to look these, I live in the middle of the country, in the middle, it should be lush out here. And maybe sometimes, but not very often, not anymore. Mm. That life force is diminishing. And then more and more people were born without the bond to hold the balance. And the world pretty much went out of control. It's like we've got all these kind of talking heads on the planet. Nobody's plugged in, hardly at all. So pretty much now we feel helpless. We don't know what to do. And yet, we're the keepers. So here's the truth. Our feminine bodies were designed to do this. They are designed to hold the balance. They're designed to keep Mother informed of who we are and what we need, and not just us, but all of humanity. And the magic key that unlocks this is our menstrual blood. And I'm getting ready to tell you why. But I want you, when I say this, just this right here, what comes in is all of the ways that women have even made this more convenient for themselves. IUDs, all of the birth control methods that we use that aren't healthy, that literally stop the flow of what we exactly need and what she needs. So I want you to just let some of these things land. Obviously, it's time for us to wake up. Women have been given the gift, and we don't, even now we call it a curse, right? But we've been given the ability to produce, house, feed, and birth new life onto this planet. Just let that land. in our pure feminine form before we put any medications or apparatuses in there. Our body is designed to do that. We're the only beings, conscious, self-aware beings on this planet that can. And yet, most of the folks that make our decisions can't do this, right? Our bodies literally produce that life-giving elixir every 28 days. And, you know, when you think about it, that liquid contains the codes of all your hopes and dreams, all your wishes, your life plan, all your potential. What you don't even know is your potential is held in there. The choices you could make, the creative, intuitive wisdom, it's all housed in there. And it's not just yours. I mean, your life experience is one thing, but your ancestors, your children, future, past, all of it is right there in that little container. All of the history of this planet is coded into that blood. It's the elixir of life, period. And we are the carriers. And here's the most important part of this. No one has to die to spill it. No one has to be in fear before it hits the ground. And that is so important. Now, when that magic fluid is all chemically combined with the soil, the water, the minerals, the roots, the trees, the fungi of the earth, all of that growing stuff that's right underneath the ground, that's the literal phone lines of this planet. This mystical, magical, alchemical exchange happens. That's how we communicate with her. We inform her of our needs, wants, and desires, and she can feel us. It's like what we really want, peace on the planet, all those things. She's like, ah, oh, there they are, my kids, there they are. She knows we're here, and it feeds her. And she produces the sustenance we need, and life goes on this planet. And that, we're going to talk about this bond because it's so much bigger than just this. But I want to give you an example. I'm actually experiencing this with my oldest grandson. When kids move away, he's 23. And he's convinced that his family is crazy because we actually want to talk to him. But if your children that you adore never spoke to you, never had anything to do with you much, the only time they have anything to do with you is when they need something, how would that make you feel? You know, we forget she's alive, and we're pretty much just thumbing our nose at her and just using her for what she can give us right now as a global community. I don't say that for everyone, but for the mass majority, this is what I see. So it's like, ooh, that just feels yucky. And if that's what we're planting, it makes sense what we're seeing around us. So Jocelyn, did you have a question? Because you unmuted yourself. I just want to make sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say, you know, I mean, thank you. This is so important. I just can't, I have full body chills the whole time you're speaking. Mm-hmm. And my heart is just saying, yes, yes, yes. You know, this is what we need to know about. And it's like, it's so simple and it's so magical. And this is something, when we're talking about the mystery school context, that humans always knew. Since the beginning of our existence, we were in this relationship with the earth of bleeding on the earth every month, and not only bleeding with her, but sharing, making offerings to her, honoring her as the source of life. In these matriarchal, ancient, Neolithic and Paleolithic communities, we were honoring life at the center of all things that we did. Top priority equals life.
Yeah.
And so this is this beautifully simple and practical way that we can return to this right now.
Mhm.
It's so wonderful. So I just wanted to say those those words.
Glad you did. I am so glad you did, because the next slide isn't nearly as pretty and flowery. So, what if this is the only blood that hits the planet? I mean, it brings tears to my eyes. What's she receiving? And all she knows to do is just give us more of whatever we're giving her. And we wonder why. We get mad at the people that are doing it, but it isn't about that. Women are sitting on a powder keg of power. And this is how we take it back, ladies. And we don't even know it. Right now, so many of us, I mean, I can't tell you all the people that come and say, Kathy, I don't know what to do. And, many of the women that are coming to me, they're beyond bleeding age. And so they, and I give them other tools, and we'll talk about those. But we feel all the pain, and we feel her pain. And we know what we're seeing out there is wrong, but we don't feel like there's anything we can do about it. And that's exactly what those nefarious forces that are using our life force for their own means want us to feel. They feed off of that. But there is something we can do. We can give the gift of life that we were given. We can return it to the mother that gave us life. We can plant it and all of our prayers for peace like a seed that will grow. And I think all of us know. It's like, I can't tell you, and I'm always the one, my birth chart says, you're going to be the leader. You're going to be out there saying things that people are going to think you're nuts. And I've been doing this, I'm used to it now. But I have to tell you, I'm getting a little frustrated because the young women that could be doing this still think it's weird. And that's why I'm here today, because what we have to begin doing is training our children. We have to make this normal, because it is. It's as normal as eating real food instead of going to McDonald's. It's that normal. And when we do this, magic happens. So here's what we aren't ever told. When you engage the practices that we're talking about, and I have instructions, the free gift is going to tell you how to do all of it. When you engage them, your body sends out a call to the universe. Your birth planets, Venus, all that you're connected to, send a giant thrust of creative Shakti potential right through your body. Gifts that you may never have known you had all begin to come online and awaken. And not only that, you create an alchemical link, an unbreakable bond between you and the earth. And that not only grounds your potential into the earth and the elements and activates them on your behalf, they begin to work for you. Your prayers get louder. You pray big. And not only that, I mean, it's practical. I live right in the middle of Tornado Alley. I never worry that something's going to hit me. I've lived that way for 30 years because I always do ceremony on the land. And up until I couldn't do it anymore, my blood was out there. She knows where I live. She's not going to let anything do something to me. And I know that. This can happen to you. I didn't find you, Jocelyn, until I did my own coming of age ceremony for myself. And all this information came in. And when I dedicated myself, my practices, my blood to her, there you were. And everything in my life changed. So that's real. So
I
you have
want to
questions.
second that too, you know, in my life that I've been giving my blood to the earth since 2017. I am so glad. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I found out about this while I still could do that. And I still am today.
Mhm.
And I'm just so grateful every time. And I feel her. I mean, she, you know, when she receives our blood, then she knows what we need and she can send that to us.
Mhm.
That has been my experience again and again. Like you say here, you pray big and you know your prayers are being heard. And there is this incredible force that comes in and you feel that in your life. She's able to take that information and give you what you really need. And so it's like, yes, when all the young kids, as more and more of the young girls are doing this, they're going to get what they need. And more of the world is getting what we all need. You know, it's this magical thing that is set into motion. It's truly like beyond mind blowing. It's like, really,
And the blood of peace is hitting the planet, not the blood of war.
yeah, yes.
So we counterbalance what has, because think of it, how many years have we not had women bleeding on the ground? It's like we have to play a little catch up right now. So there's something else I was going to share with you. It'll come back. About, yeah. So I want to talk this, I want to get practical about what people can do. And you may or may not know what moon lodging is, but basically, I mean, at this point, I have just so narrowed it down. I beg women, take at least an hour. You know, back in the day, we take 4 days. I know better in this day and age to ask women to take 4 days off. But if you can, on the first day of your cycle or near around when the cycle is really heavy and you really don't feel like doing anything else anyway, take the time to get by yourself, to get quiet, close the door. It's like, this is mom time. Nobody bothers you. And you go in and do prayers, do ceremony, do ritual. You don't have to, this is not about a religion. Any tradition can do this and should, because she needs all of us. Take a little bit of time just to acknowledge. And there's, tons of information online about how and what a moon lodge is. So if you want to do that with other women, you can create that situation for yourself, but it's not necessary. Anyone can do this. And at the very least, during your bleeding time, collect that blood and give it to the earth. And like I said, there's instructions. It's pretty simple. It's not hard. There's instructions in the free gift about how to do that. If you haven't experienced a coming of age ceremony for yourself, I know nowadays a lot of women are starting to do this for their daughters. And that's amazing. That's what needs to happen. But if you've never done it for yourself, do it. Even if you're beyond bleeding age, use a glass of wine and go out and offer your blood to the elements. Do a little fire ceremony and go to each one of the directions and say a little prayer and just dedicate yourself and your blood to the planet and see what happens. Your life will change. Many of the downloads and the information that are in this came out of mine, and I didn't do it till I was 59. So all of this information is really for kids right now. And we're going to talk about, I mean, the challenge is always, how do we get them to do it? And I'm going to tell you a little story about how that works. But other things, find a circle that resonates with you. If you can't find one, start your own. And it's as simple as inviting girlfriends over once a month. Find a book that sources or feeds you. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to know anything. This is instinctual. You'll know exactly what to do. If you need a container or you need the information that will source your body, there's lots of that out there now. I have one that very nominal fee that meets once a month online, but I make all of that material available if you want to do your own circle. So there is nothing standing in your way but you. Because you want something that teaches and supports your female body to make the shifts you need to make. Because your female body, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just the emergency Band-Aid. Her body is a receiver of divine information all the time. And that's what she was made to do. And, we're just kind of like, yeah, I need to make dinner.
Right.
Did you have something you wanted to say, Jocelyn?
No, not specifically.
Okay.
I just so agree with all this. But
So,
yeah, and we're trained to just go make dinner too. We're trained to put all the things on the to-do list ahead of this sort of thing, ahead of ritual and ceremony, ahead of our connection with life. And we really need to rethink that, recalibrate that in our lives as much as we can.
The truth of it is we put it all ahead of ourselves.
Right. Yes.
And we can't, for us, that's even hard to say out loud. But it's like, that's what I teach all my priestesses. It's like, your presence on this planet right now is the most important thing. And, that's been programmed out of us too. Now, here's the kicker. Practice in front of your kids. Make it normal. They need to see it from the time they're very little bitty, so that they need to see mom go to her circle. And it needs to be something that, when I get big enough, when I start to bleed, I get to go too. It needs to be something they're excited about. And then, all the things. Be conscious of what you're planting in your own body. And all of this is in the free gift. Teach other women, teach young girls, find I cannot thank you enough, Jocelyn. Just pull my string. This is what I could just scream this out to the world. Find opportunities to talk about this and talk about it. And then do all the things. Track your cycle, eat well, talk to your womb, all of that. But the most important thing right now, this is the emergency. If you're still bleeding, get that blood on the ground. Now, it's like, I don't want to hear the excuses. I'm done. This past week, I will just share full disclosure. I have two adult daughters that were raised when I was asleep. So this is just mom stuff, right? And one of them calls me whining that her period's really painful. And I said, well, I know you have your dad's work ethic, but you should be resting. We're texting back and forth. And then and then I text her privately away from the other daughter that I know will poo-poo this. And I said, not to mention the fact that your mom is a New Earth high priestess and Mother Earth probably wants your blood on the ground. And she's like, I get the vomit emoji. And she's like, I mean,
Yeah.
but that, think about it. All the people she runs with, most of the people, the women on this planet of bleeding age, that's their attitude. And just breaks my heart. I mean, someday I might be able to sit down with her, but she basically, we have a group text with the three of us. She basically went and said, Wendy, help. Mom's trying to get me to put my blood on the ground. What? It's a joke. And it's like, this is an emergency, folks. We can't just bat this stuff back and forth anymore. So practice in front of your kids. Your young girls and boys need to see that this is normal and not weird. So I have a high priestess now that has been in my circles for several years and started doing this right when she started Sacred Rhythm, so several years ago. And she homeschools her boys. And she's been doing this in front of them. And they're, probably 8 and 10, something like that. They had the occasion, she lives in Europe. They had the occasion, they had to move in with her parents for a little bit while they remodeled her house. She went ahead and set up her altar at home. And that was a little bit shocking for the parents, but they were okay. So comes bleed time, and she goes out with her blood and offers her blood to her mom's flower bed. Grandpa, her dad, and her son are outside when she does this. And the little boy looks up at his grandpa and says, yeah, that's my mom. She's offering her blood to the earth. She does it every month. It makes her happy.
Wow.
That's how we change the world, Justin.
That's so beautiful.
It's like, I don't know about you, but I think he's about the age of one of your daughters. If I had granddaughters, that's the boy I'd want them to find, right?
Yes.
Those are the boys we need to raise, not just our girls.
Wow.
So it's like, that's how we do it. And you just start now. And eventually this will become normal. And that part of it begins with us. It just does. If you don't have children that age anymore, look for children to mentor. The children in your life, your nieces, your nephews, all of them. It's like, be their buddy and make what you do cool in front of them. It's like, even the 23-year-old grandson, I took him camping all his life. So he still thinks grandma is the cool grandma. So I could go talk to his girlfriend at this point. She might listen. So those are the ways that we get this out to our kids. But at this point, it's like we're beyond. It's an emergency. We have to shift this now. And, nowadays, you can Google it. There's plenty of coming of age material and ceremonies and ways to do this with your children and your daughters. And please do those. When you do them, make sure, if you can, that if you can offer their blood to the earth, all the different elements, the directions, that's the anchor that will anchor their lives and change their lives. I don't know about you all. I mean, nowadays it might be different, but I remember when I was growing up, we hit that bleeding age and we went nuts. We lost our minds. We made choices that our parents lived in fear that we were going to make all of them. And we did. And we spent the next 20 years cleaning up those choices. If girls would ground their energies into the planet, we wouldn't go insane when we hit that age. But because all that frenetic energy isn't grounded into her, they don't have an anchor and they're gonna be rebelling against their parents. And the only thing you'll have to hang on to is your prayers. So getting their blood, their first blood on the ground, it will change their life and yours. So I feel like that is really important to speak into. All right. I spent most of my adult life being driven by this thought. What if I'd known? What if I'd been practicing? What if there were others like me who did? What would our world be like? And I ask you now, what if you'd known? What would our world be like if we'd all been doing this? So we do this for our daughters. We do this for our kids. We do this for the next 7. Questions, honey?
Oh, wow. I was on the verge of tears there as you were sharing those last questions. And yeah, I guess, do you have any other stories? I would love to hear any other stories of, helping the kids to understand this. If you have any other, those real life stories are just so helpful to put it into that we can
I wish I had
ourselves doing that, and I'll share too. My girls are 10 and 13 now. And my older daughter, has started her moon time. And so, she's seen me do this for 6 years. She was, I guess 7 when I started, giving my blood to the earth. And so she accepts it on some levels and not all the levels, right? So I'm working with her on that. And I also don't want to force anything on her, and I want it to feel right for her too. So it is such a delicate thing to share this kind of sacredness in a way that will make sense to our young ones. They can really embrace and feel it for themselves, and I just, that story of the little boy telling his grandpa, that is so beautiful. That is just,
it was like in that moment when she shared that in class, it was like, okay, my job here is done.
yeah.
I did it. It's like, oh, thank you. But it's like we need so many more of those stories. And I wish I had more. I mean, the stories that I have are it's, we have to start early. So if there's anyone listening that hasn't had kids yet, it's like you start now. Start now. And then your kids will just grow up in it. And the other thing that I feel is really important is that we don't hide it. We don't, like this lady that was in my class, she didn't keep it a secret from her kids. He knew. He was he knew. So it's like if you can find it in yourself, the hiding part is another piece of that program. This should be normal and natural, and we shouldn't feel ashamed. It shouldn't We shouldn't make it ugly, but we've been taught to make it that. So just notice those things in yourselves and root them out. Find it, release them however you can. Um, I have mostly the stories I have are the sad ones, like the ones of my kids, because I took my youngest, she would be the one that followed me through all of my female rebellion. And we went to a circle one time where a lady was trying to introduce the mysteries to everyone in the circle. And she put a bowl of red water on a pedestal in the center of the circle. Mm. And I watched Kim just go like this and just shrink. And she was so ready to leave. Now, what she was experiencing was ancestral shame and guilt. She didn't know that. I didn't know it then. She just was, it's weird, Mom. And that's the response that we'll get the longer we wait. What I will do is give you, when I did my coming of age ceremony, like I said, the mothers are way loud. And I made it like I was 12 when I was doing it in my mind. Most of this happened in a journal, but they just started talking to me like I was 12. And this is what they said. They said, you see, even though your body is acting strange, this is a really magical, mystical time. It's when you begin to link up your body to the earth in a formal way. The blood that your body is emitting right now is one of the most powerful, potent elixirs on earth, pure liquid gold. It's a magical gift from the goddess. It holds the codes for all of your dreams, hopes, wishes, your life plan and potential, all the choices you could make, your creative and intuitive potential, and not only yours, but that of your ancestors and your offspring and all your future lives. It's a virtual, unending cornucopia of information, and it's programmable. It can be reformed and reshaped. But most important, it's your link up to the Earth Mother, your magic key to unlocking all the potential that lies within you and turning it on. And at this point in your young life, it's pure. It has not been tainted with adult indiscretions or toxic emotion. It's pure potential. And, they go on to talk about the Shakti energy coming in. And it says, today in your ceremony, we will dedicate your blood, your body, and your womb to the goddess and the Earth Mother to seal the bond between you and to activate your full creative potential so you can actually accomplish the things your high soul intended to do. This will make your journey an enjoyable and magical experience.
Wow. Oh, that is so beautiful, Kathy. It's just straight from the goddess.
Yeah. It's like everyone can do that. I'm not special. I'm just a girl from Kansas. It's like, I'm not, this isn't rocket science. This is our gift. This is what everybody got. All of us.
Within us. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that transmission, because that is the ceremony right there. Right.
It is.
That's ceremony.
It's so simple. You just go, you have whatever. If you have blood, you use it. If you don't, use red Kool-Aid. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, red wine.
Yeah.
Hibiscus tea,
Exactly.
These beautiful things. Yeah.
And then just offer it to each of the directions, offer it to the earth, say a few prayers, give some herbs or tobacco, call it good. That's all it takes. Yeah. And that will be life transforming and change, for anyone that does it. And, it may not even feel like it in the moment, but you will track back and go, that is when my life changed.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And I want to say that keep in mind, everybody, as you're listening, keep in mind the shame or the disgust or the repulsion that we have been taught to feel around this concept of working with our blood
Mhm.
is because we're so powerful and our blood is so powerful. And at some point in history, those in power decided they wanted to have more power than that, right? Than all the power they saw in the women.
Mhm.
And we started to be, they started to find ways to overpower us and put us down and make us feel small
Mhm.
and make us forget who we really are. And they shamed this extremely, incredibly powerful aspect of our blood, which is,
Exactly.
like you said, it is the elixir of life. It is the life force of all creation that we hold within us.
Mhm.
And yet that has been shamed, right? And the indoctrination, right, the conditioning around that goes so deep that we do it to ourselves now. As you said earlier in the presentation, Kathy, we do it to ourselves. So we want to really be aware of that. If you're feeling that those kind of repulsion or not wanting to go into this, it's not you, right? It's not the truth of who you are, but it's this conditioning that has been layered upon us for thousands of years, literally,
Mhm.
that
Mhm. Yeah.
the great they, whoever they are, that were in power at the time and have tried to take that power away from us. So really, I think it's important, alongside doing the ceremony and beginning the practice of giving the blood to the earth in whatever way that we can, also to give ourselves space to heal from that conditioning, to
Mhm.
recognize it, to see it in all its forms, all around us, all the ways that we're told that we're small and powerless and we should be afraid, and to know that none of that is actually true,
Right.
right? And to heal from that, to release those old belief systems that were
Mhm.
placed upon us. It's all
Yeah.
part of this journey. It's so connected.
Yeah. And, please feel free to edit this out if you want to, but there is another piece of that programming that I don't think many people know or are aware of. But when the powers that be were trying to usurp women's authority through their blood, there were some very horrible, nefarious forces that began doing things with blood that was ugly and mean and harmful. And so I feel like a lot of women, during that time when they were, killing people because of witchcraft and all of that, I feel like all of us just learned to shy away from anything that had to do with blood because we didn't want to be associated with that.
Yeah.
And that is the blood of death. And our blood is the blood of life. And that's the key difference. So,
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yes, absolutely. Oh, wow. Well, I wish we could talk another hour. I truly do.
I know.
There's so much here, but I know, so your free gift shares
Mhm.
a lot more about this. And maybe, do you mind stop sharing your screen now,
Sure.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we'll be
Mhm.
full screen again, and let's chat about your free gift.
Okay.
And that is called Pillars of the Feminine Mysteries: Stalking the Goddess in the 21st Century. So could you tell
Yes.
us what is included?
So it's like the basics of everything. Like I teach a, 12-month moon lodge, all the information about how to take care of the female body, which is different from the male body. There, certain things, certain foods affect our bodies differently. That's part of the reason that our bodies have a tendency to break down so much more easily than maybe male bodies do, is because we just think we can put anything in them. And eventually that can catch up with us. So, all of those teachings are in there. How to collect the blood, the importance of doing that is in there. Just about it's like the mini version. And so if you aren't ready to start a big 12-month program, it's 6 videos. And I think there might even be a question and answer video in there. But 6 or 7, and they're about an hour to an hour and a half long. So it's a chunk of information, but it's everything you need to know about how to take care of your body, the importance of moon lodging, all of those things, and how to do it. It's all in there.
That's
So,
amazing. Thank you for this beautiful
mhm.
resource, very valuable resource.
Mhm.
So everybody, you can scroll down just below this video and you'll find that free gift link right there. So definitely go and get that free gift and just watch it, watch it while you're cooking dinner and doing the dishes, or whenever
Watch
you can.
it in front of your kids.
Watch it in front of your kids. Yeah, really take it in and let that just slowly shift and change the tectonic
Mhm.
plates of your understanding of reality.
We've done that. This was
Yeah.
the earthquake, tsunami.
Yeah. Yeah, we need these big shifts. We're here at this time to really embody these major shifts in consciousness. So what you're bringing forward here is a huge part of that, Kathy, and I'm so grateful to you.
Mm.
So also, where can people find you online? Do you have any new, things coming up that you want us to know about?
So online, you can always find me. And if you sign up for the free gift, you'll be on my email list. And so anything I'm doing will be out there. I will, a new Moon Lodge circle called Sacred Rhythms will be starting in January. I'll be opening up priestess circles again in January. So I train women in the feminine mysteries. So, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And this was like, you know, the clarion call, sound the alarm, what you learned in here. But there's so much more. And if you need a community, the practices that are required for us to really shift our consciousness, you need a support group, you need a support system. So if you need that, you know, there's a lot of them out there, and I encourage women to find the one that resonates with you. But there are, I have several things that will be happening in January. And if you're interested in that, sign up for the free gift and you'll get the emails and it'll all come out.
Fantastic. And yeah, I'm on your email list and I know you have so many beautiful things that you're sharing, and invitations to these powerful, powerful communities and ways of being and mystery schools. So thank you so much, Kathy. It's really amazing all that you do. And thank you, everybody out there, for listening. And I hope you've received so much from this interview. And I encourage you to watch it again. It's some really powerful information that Kathy has shared here. Really take this into your heart, really allow your heart and your mind to be opened by this information and let it change you in the ways that it's meant to and the ways that feel right for you. And I'm sending you all so much love, and I hope you will enjoy our next upcoming interviews as well. Many blessings. Lots of love, everybody.